So there's this unique penny stock that the famous and very successful investment fund Ark Invest just keeps on buying. It is disruptive and innovative and has a very high potential for upside. Today we will be looking at this almost penny stock and understand why Ark Invest likes it so much and why they have more than $40 million worth of shares in it. And also decide for ourselves whether it is a buy right now or not. I would also go through just why I think these guys have the potential to even 10x in share price in the future. So stay tuned, guys. So for all of you who haven't heard of Ark Invest, they are an insanely popular investment fund, more specifically an exchange traded fund that can be bought by anyone through the stock exchange. And these guys are famous for their focus on disruptive and sustainable innovation that makes the world a better place. And as an electric vehicle enthusiast, I just love this concept. And not only is this a nice concept, they have the crazy returns to back it up. When looking at the 1-year performance up until October, 5 of the top 10 exchange traded funds are from Ark Invest, with their best performing fund going up 114%, which is crazy when you compare it to the S&P 500 that has gone up around 15% in that same time period. And the stock that we are going to talk about is a part of that very successful fund. Oh, and by the way, if you're new here, my name is Sam and welcome to the channel. If you find this video valuable, please consider hitting that like button since it helps out more than you can imagine. So let's get right into the stock now. The company is Aqua Technologies with ticker symbol AQB. And at this point, Ark Invest owns at least $41 million worth of shares in this company, which is a lot when they have a market cap of only around $300 million. So why does Ark Invest consider these guys to be disruptive innovation with a positive impact for the environment and society? So these guys are farming Atlantic salmon that is just as nutritious as other farmed salmon, but with a massive twist. Through genetic engineering, just one single time, they have managed to give their fish one specific, already naturally existing gene trait that make their Atlantic salmon stronger and more healthy during the most vulnerable stages of their growth. Through this, they are able to increase the amount of salmon they can harvest and help address the global shortage of seafood. At the same time though, they can reduce the amount of food needed to raise the salmon by 25% compared to other salmon farmers, thus reducing their impact on the environment and also making them more affordable. And keep in mind, guys, that this salmon is always free of antibiotics and more affordable and often fresher than the salmon of their competitors. This is absolutely huge, and I can understand why Ark Invest likes this company so much. Cathie Wood, CEO and founder of Ark Invest, always talks about how important it is to find and invest in companies with disruptive innovation that can help transform and solve some of the world's most persistent problems. And what can be a better example of that than Aqua Technologies? These guys not only have a strong business model with their fresh and affordable salmon that just on this merit might have potential to disrupt or at least compete in a massive market, but to add to this, Aqua can help reduce the overfishing of wild salmon populations. So many fisheries are on the absolute brink of collapse, but as the demand for seafood just keeps increasing, the fishing continues. Today, the Atlantic salmon sole in the US is farmed, but by providing a consistent source of responsibly raised salmon, Aqua can help reduce the pressure on the wild salmon stocks. They can also help solve the issue of toxins being in farmed salmon by carefully monitoring every step of the farming process and can therefore provide a consistent source of responsibly raised salmon. And this is just awesome because Atlantic salmon is so popular in the world and will just be more and more popular in the future, and Aqua makes it possible to enjoy this tasty, toxin-free Atlantic salmon knowing that it will have a very low impact on the climate and on the environment in general. So if you combine all of these different factors, Aqua has really managed to set itself up for the possibility of being a huge contender in the seafood market, at least in my opinion. And I'm sure they will at least consider expanding even beyond salmon in the future as they start growing exponentially. And now looking at their financials, their 3-month revenue up until September 2020 was around $60,000, and they're still working hard on research and scaling up, so it does make sense why it's not too impressive right now. Also, considering how they made $0 during that same time period in 2019, it's a very nice improvement actually. And not to mention, if you look at the Aqua Bounty's long-term growth target and production estimates, there's potential for some tremendous upside here. Just these last quarters, they have successfully harvested salmon, and they will be working on their 3rd farm in 2021. This farm will be able to output 10,000 metric tons of salmon, which would really start ramping up their revenue. And for 2028, they have projected 51,000 tons, which will lead to so much higher revenue and a share price that would make the price of today look like an absolute bargain. So am I personally looking to invest in Aqua Bounties? Yes, I think they're a very interesting company and I just bought some shares. Now unfortunately I missed a large part of the run-up of today. They are around $8 now, but as always I like to invest in stocks for the long term and try to look past the short-term movements. Now obviously we need to keep in mind here that there is a very high level of risk with investing in this stock, and just today they stopped being a penny stock, but really that should almost be enough for us to understand that the company has a lot to prove. They have many years ahead of them before they truly prove themselves, but they are definitely a company of the future. And considering the fact that Ark Invest has more than $40 million worth of shares, it does give confidence that there is some tremendous upside potential here. Honestly, if they actually manage to reach an output of 51,000 metric tons, that kind of revenue could totally 10x the share price. The global salmon market is worth $17 billion, and this company being worth around $300 million should really speak for itself when it comes to the potential for crazy returns. And with that, I want to conclude today's video. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to give it a like to help us reach out to more people about this company and just to show them the case of the stock and the pros and cons of it. A simple thing as pressing that thumbs up button really helps me out. It's the absolute best way you can support me. Also, if you have watched all the way to this point, and if you like the content, of course, that's really important, why not subscribe and join us in the journey to hit 10,000 investors by the end of this year. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.